Next up, I think we're going to uh, go over to an interview with none other than Two Colors. They're a really sick Berlin-based electronic pop duo. We're gonna have a conversation with them, and I'll see you soon.
All right, well, we are back with the one and only Two Colors, tuned in live. How you guys doing? Thanks for making the time.
Yeah, of course, man.
Yeah,
We're
we are good.
excited.
Yeah.
I see you guys are locked in the studio. Where in the world are you calling from right now?
We are here in our West studio. Like we have two studios in Berlin. We have a studio
Hmm.
East and a studio West, and right now we are in Studio West working on some new songs.
Incredible. What are the vibes difference from Studio East to Studio West?
Like Studio West, here we're doing the mixing and mastering and all the production, I would say. And in the other studio, in the Emil side of the studio, because Emil lives also there, we are doing more the creative stuff. Like we're doing sessions there, meeting up with singer songwriters, and yeah, there the creation of songs is happening. And yeah, here's a perfect mixing mastering environment.
That's incredible. So you have a creative sort of idea starting space, and then it seems you have a finishing space as well. It must be nice
Yeah,
to
Yeah,
yeah,
live in a two like
yeah,
physically different
it's
spaces.
because we do like all the stuff like in our music. Like when we do a session, like Piro's playing piano, I play the guitar. When we do songs, we start like from scratch. There's nothing. Then we have most of the time we have like a vocalist, and then we do the song like develops, and at the end we're in this room, and
Mm.
here's the final steps. Puro is doing the mixing and the mastering, so like it's like our
yeah.
world.
Because often you are so distracted from the sound, but
Mm.
the first thing that's important is really the song, and then the sound you're not distracted from the sound perspective. You know what I mean?
So
Because often you just want to it stops
the
the
creative
creativity
yeah,
a
it's
little
it
bit when you're just focusing on sound. So
yeah,
it's best to focus first on all the creative stuff, and then in the end you really can dig into to the sound stuff.
it's a little bit the same thing that's happening when you record vocals. And for example, if the singer is next to us singing, he most of the time the singers are more open, and there's not so much distance. But if you have like a studio, and then you have like this glass wall and they're on the other side, and you say, okay, can you sing this one more time, then there's so much distance, and then the feeling gets a little bit lost. That's why we have these two spaces. One is just for creativity, and the other one is for finishing the final product.
Such a cool look into the process, and it makes a lot of sense for me as a listener. It really strikes me you guys are songwriters at your core, so it would make sense that you're bringing in these collaborators, you're sitting in a room together, you're bringing a song out of them or creating something all together. When you're getting in
Yeah.
the studio for the first time with a new vocalist, what do you do? What's the icebreaker? How do you kind of like dive into creating?
Oh,
Well, I like dive in, but first, before we create, we just talk a little bit,
Mm,
like where you're from, just to it's
like a date.
like a date, like you're on a date and you just
mm,
want to get comfortable with a person, and yeah, then we most of the time we have a rough idea what we want to do, and
Which is like a chord progression.
yeah, like a chord, or we have an idea of a topic, and then we just throw in a lot of ideas. Amy plays a riff on the guitar, then the singer is doing some melodies, or we are doing some melodies, and then yeah, from a melody it comes to like words, and then at the what we always try to do is to really finish a song in one day. So we
mm.
have a rough song in one day, because what we found out is when you take too much time for a song, it's it's never comes out so well. I don't know that.
You overwork it a
Yeah,
little bit.
yeah,
Like
yeah. Then you overheard heard a lot of stuff, and then the best songs that we wrote were finished in like 4 hours or something.
Mm.
And Yeah.
Like not the whole song, but you know the structure,
the rough
The
mix.
skeleton,
elements.
the lyrics.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's sort of like the core, the song.
Like the idea, the idea is there, and then it's just like making like the overall production. But when the idea is good and the idea is there, then it's then it also doesn't take so much time for the to end the song.
And what we're also doing is like when we're in the session, some singers always want to sing in the microphone directly. But what we like to do is like we sit like somebody's sitting there, somebody's maybe sitting on the floor, somebody's next to the keyboard, and we try to jam in the room as long as we can and say, okay, this is cool. That's a cool pre-chorus. Let's record this in the phone. This is a cool verse. What do you think about this? And we try to have the vibe as long as we can within us and not like the microphone, because we found out when we record directly like a good thing in the microphone, then it sounds already good. Then Piero wants to make the vocal sound as cool and as best as he can, and then we are already like digging into, it's like then you're like you're digging a hole and you try to find the other way, like the exit. And if you're like in the room, it's more, yeah, this is cool. Oh, maybe not this. Let's loop it again. Let's listen. Let's sing. Oh,
yeah. It's also good that because like writing, it's also it's a very intimate. So it's also good like that the singer songwriter can really go a little bit far away and just think for himself. Because when you're like in a small room and you're like, okay, let's be creative. And that's and it's not a good environment to write songs. You need space.
Absolutely. Oh, I hope there's some producers and songwriters watching today specifically, because you guys are just dropping bar after bar. I love that idea of sort of creating in the room and waiting to bring it into the box, because I'm sure, like once you start recording something, it becomes a little bit less malleable. I love that you kind of just give it this space to explore.
And also when you listen to when you're listening to the song, like a I don't know, like a eight bar loop over and over again, you also find out very quickly if this is like good, because when you listen to this for an hour and it doesn't feel like off, or you feel like, oh, it's annoying, then it's already like a good sign. So if you can jam like for an hour with one like tiny loop, that's always like a good thing. You can see, okay,
that right direction. You guys mentioned when you're working with a new collaborator, you're talking to them about where they're from. I've got to steal that question. You guys are from Berlin, born and raised. How does that city or that experience of being there bleed into your music? How does that inform your work?
A lot, because when we grew up, we both listened a lot of these like Paul Kalkbrenner, for example. I don't know if you know him.
Like a lot of Berlin DJs. And I mean this you can hear, because we have the Dark Side of Two Colors, and that's a TC project. And that's really there you can really hear our Berlin roots.
Berlin roots, and there we so it influenced us a lot.
And it's a little bit because like we grew up like going out and being in these clubs, and that time the songs, they were not so like really like techno. It was like a
more melodic
time of electronic music, and you also had like vocals already sometimes in there, even if it's like tiny bits.
It was not like techno-ish. It was not like hard techno. It was more like like Berlin
electronic music is a little bit more.
It's like the sounds are very. It's in between acoustic and electronic. Often the sounds. It's like
a real guitar, or like a real synthesizer, from the 80s or something. So it's always like a real instrument, and then you have the power of the things coming from the computer, like.
Like the bass lines and the kicks and stuff, and so it's a big part of for both of us, I think.
Yeah.
For your own journeys as musicians and artists, did you pick up sort of live instruments like playing on a synth, playing guitar first, or were you sort of in the box on the production side first?
I think Piero you started playing piano.
Okay, yeah. I started playing piano when I was like 10 or something, and I took class for like 8 years, and then I
Then they started with Ableton.
Yeah, and then I started a little bit like I wanted to learn like I want to create my own songs on the piano. That's how it started. Then I played something, and then I wanted to record something, and then somebody showed me Ableton, and then I did something on the computer. It wasn't even like production; it was just like chords, and then that's how it started on my side.
Yeah, for me as well. I started a little bit later, just playing guitar, and then was this one artist which Piero already mentioned, like the Paul Kalkbrenner, and he had like a song where acoustic guitar was within that electronic world, and that's the first time when I found out, okay, it's possible to have like because I always liked electronic music, but I knew I wanted to have like something that you really can play, and then this wave started with like real instruments, so I focused a little bit more on this electronic music with live instruments, and so we both have a little bit the same background and listen to at the same time to the same kind of music, which I think influenced us in our thinking.
That's super cool. And yes, it's so clear to hear in your music right now. Like it does feel like a hybrid of these two worlds kind of coming together. I gotta ask, as you know, big collaborators yourself, if you could work with any artist right now, who would it be?
We get asked this question a lot, because it's like, because in our world it's so important, or like so often that like people are connecting with from different genres. But to be honest, in the beginning we were like we always called out all the names, but right now I think there's so many artists that we would like to work with, but we really like if it's like from a different angle. For example, you take somebody like
unusual,
Rosalia, for example.
like very unusual.
Like
Rosalia would be nice.
Or like when we did the remixes for Imagine Dragons, they're like pop rock music, and we're like doing dance. So that's like a cool. It's always cool when the combination is a little bit.
Because we did one time a remix of the Imagine Dragons, the Bones. Bones, and that fitted so well with our sound. So this is always I mean it's a little bit harder to do maybe, but at the end it sounded much better. It sounds much better. But like Rosalia was always like our first choice, because we love her voice. She has like a mystic thing in her voice that's really like
special.
And
she has also like, she's doing dance, but she's like doing this reggaeton, and she has this like electronic influences, and then she has this flamenco influences. So she's also like a hybrid in her own world. So that's, we always like it. Or like Billie Eilish, for example, she's also like a great thing. She's like pushing boundaries and sound wise, and having great music videos. And it's like a real. We love to work with artists who have like a, they're like a brand. You can see them from a mile away, or can hear them, and that's this guy or this person, that band. That's what we think is more.
Well, when we had the choice, but usually we really would. The first thing that's important for us is really just how the vocal sounds, like how they're singing, because we don't care about like he's like, I don't know, famous or something, and then he doesn't sound good. So the first thing is always he needs to sound good and
special
and special, and that's why because we have a new song out, Stereo, and there you can also hear the Roe Byrne is his name. It was like his third single, and he's just
From Ireland.
from Ireland. He's a singer-songwriter and never worked with electronic artists, and this is interesting for us.
Yeah, because his vocals, like when we first heard it, we were like, is this a man or is this a woman? So you couldn't clearly get it just from because it sounded so cool. And that really got us like our attention. We were like, that's an incredible voice.
Yeah,
and also it's
who hasn't heard Stereo, you gotta go play Stereo because that's just an awesome song.
Thank you.
Yeah, and what I wanted to say also, it's why should you work with we are in the electronic world, and why you should work with an artist who did 10 songs with other electronic artists. So you don't stick out then.
Yeah.
So it's always cooler to work with new artists, and it's much more fun and much more interesting and much more
it gives value.
Surprise, how you call it? It's
more like it surprises you more.
It surprises you more.
It's the same like Avicii when he first did the song with Aloe Black or
Aloe Black.
It was like you never heard this name in the pop dance electronic world
that's
before.
So cool.
And then he put him on a map, and that's so cool because then it's like it gives that special thing, the secret sauce. I don't know.
I love that. It really feels like at the core of what you guys do is pulling in two things that might not be expected to sit beside each other and then making them work together.
Yeah.
With that in mind, are there any artists or even genres of music that you're really listening to a lot of now that people might not expect you guys to listen to or to love based on the kind of music that you make?
Recently, we are really back into like this high school rock, like for example, like Limp Bizkit. We're listening to a lot of Limp Bizkit lately because the power in that music, like in that rock 2000 era, was so cool when you had like Slipknot and like the Prodigy and all these. I was like this music that really makes you want to move. It's like you can't listen to this and just be like, you really have to. It's so powerful, and the arrangements are so cool. That's music we really like, right?
Like rock. Now I like it a lot. And also what I listened to lately is the Berlin Calling from Paul Kalkbrenner. It's like was it no?
It's a soundtrack of the movie, like Berlin Calling.
It's like his album, and it's a really really cool album. And it's like Paul Kalkbrenner. It's electronic music, so but it's like but it sounds special. Yeah.
If you could clear any sample or any interpolation in the world, what song would you like to use?
Lately, we listened to the Darude, to the Darude Sandstorm. No, what was Dahul? What was this? We fell in love at the Love Parade.
Yeah.
Or I met her at the Love Parade. You know that sound.
That's good.
But it was already like used a couple of times. But still, such a when it hits, it's like amazing song. Also from the I can't get no sleep.
Insomnia.
It's also like a crazy.
Yeah.
There's so many, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I think that's
maybe
two of them that we like. Yeah.
I'd love to hear both of your takes. Either of those. I'm putting that in.
We're working on something. We have something on our hard drive, which is supposed to come out this year, and it's like a really dark or like festival dance song, and it's with the famous, I would say like a rock band also from that time. And we got to meet them in Amsterdam, and we told them that we love that special song from them, and they were like, "Yeah, we're super open. Let's do it." And so So we have already something that is like an interpolation, but yeah, you will hopefully hear it soon, I would say.
Yeah.
Oh man, fingers crossed. I hope it comes together.
Yes, thank you.
And you mentioned Love Parade. Did either of you guys ever go to the festival?
I once went with my dad, but I was like a child, and he just took me there, and he said, let's just keep watching the people. And it was like, for me, was like shock, because there were so many people, like really, like this. It was that time when it was like millions, of people on the streets. So it was like really full, and I saw a lot of people who were like, I still remember one person got like, I think he was on drugs, and the ambulance was carrying him on these, on the two people yeah, and he was like strapped, so he's not falling off, and he was still like dancing while he was like strapped, and it was like I just saw that, and I was like, oh my God, it's so crazy. As a kid, it was just like, I don't know, like a zoo or something. It was like unimaginable, kind of crazy.
Yeah, I can imagine you'll never forget that memory, especially as a
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah, but it was a good one, and we also sometimes just watch the videos, on YouTube. You can see some people are cutting the videos together, so you have like the 2 hour, like when the trucks are rolling. So it's a super fun experience to just look at it and see the people, because they were like, not nowadays everybody's like always dressed up when they're like, for example, in Berlin, when you go to these clubs, everybody's like black and leather and fetish clothing, and back then it was just normal people, it was just normal people in a colorful way. You also had this like techno people with like short like shirts and like big trousers, but it was like more open for everybody. So it was I think a really, really cool time, because it was really inclusive for everybody, and not just for rave party people.
I love For someone who's coming to see you guys perform, what can they expect from hearing Two Colors live?
Party. And now, like, we worked like the six last month. We worked on a live set, and where I play synthesizers and Emil plays the guitar, and now it's really like a. Before it was like more like a DJ show, and now it's really like a live show where you really want to see what's happening on the stage, because it's hard to describe. It's like more like a concert vibe. It's not longer like somebody. No offense, like somebody playing with a stick behind the table. Now it's really like we're standing on the DJ table, and we're playing almost all songs live.
That's
so
awesome.
It's really like more like a
yeah. But like for example, like when we play a show, we always play our own music. So it's just Two Colors. It's like if it's not our song, then it's a remix we did for somebody else, which maybe come out or maybe did not came out. But we play it, and it's like, and then we have a special thing, like Pure already mentioned it, the dark side of Two Colors, where we are singing with a vocoder effect. So we have like live vocals. So like each of one of us is like singing like, I don't know, 2 or 3 songs.
Like we both have a different vocoder sound, and then we sing the TC songs live, because there's a vocoder. You know the songs. And this is really like when we also see the people changing their faces, because when you see, because we really have now a connection to the people, like when you sing there and perform, and it's a different vibe.
Yeah,
because when you DJ, it's also like you have really like make the people dance. But the vibe is different. You don't have the connection to the people, really.
Sometimes you have that when you do like actions, like you filter something and the crowd is singing, or you do something like you try to connect with the people, like also with the
okay, that's different,
but it's there, it's like the limit is let's go everybody, and you try to connect everybody, but when you're singing you can really like go in front of the stage and you can look the people in the eye, and it's like and last show Puro went down in the really and touched the people at like the hands of in the first row, and they looked at him and saw, okay, there's something coming out of his mouth into the microphone, and then they can hear it over the PA. They were like really like, oh my God, what's going on here? So it's a different vibe.
Yeah, that's so cool.
That's incredible. Well, guys, thank you so much. I'm getting the call from my producer that I think the segment's wrapping up.
Okay, let's wrap it up.
Making the time. You are two musicians who are just, it's such a treat to hear you speak about the craft of what you do. Super excited for everyone to hear some music. We're going to play some up next and toss it to a break. But both you guys, thanks so much for making the time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.